Yoki realizes he may have just gained another rival in love, and the thought sends him into a spiral. He tries to believe Cecilia would reject Raven, yet he remembers they are teammates in the hero's party and begins to wonder if something already exists between them. He starts thinking about crazy scenarios, which makes him fear that Raven could take Cecilia away at any moment. Raven returns not long after, looking clearly dejected, and Yoki quickly realizes that the confession has not gone well. Raven apologizes for wasting all the moral support Yoki had given him and leaves. However, Yoki still cannot stop worrying about Cecilia, so he heads back to the mansion and calls for headmaid Sophia, who looks suspicious that he is already back. Yoki pretends he is only worried about Cecilia, yet Sophia tells him to leave. He asks Sophia what Raven said to her. She explains that Raven asked to meet Happiness. That makes everything click for Yoki, because he realizes Raven is interested in Happiness, and he starts wondering why Happiness rejected him so firmly. Curious, he goes to see her and tells her that Raven is his friend, which surprises her. She tells him there is no way she can be with Raven. Yoki thinks she hates the man, but she shakes her head and walks away without giving him any explanation. Later that evening, Yoki asks Duke and Seek what they think about Raven, and both of them question why he would let someone like a former member of the hero's party get close to Happiness. Yoki points out that he is not the one who arranged it. Duke then explains that Happiness hesitates for personal reasons. Harpies are a beautiful race, and in the past, humans hunted them for their bodies and feathers. Duke saved Happiness from some of those humans, which is why she joined the Demon Lord's army, yet he believes that experience left her unwilling to get involved with humans again. Seek argues that she does not hate humans since she chose to work in Cecilia's mansion as a maid, and Yoki agrees, while adding that Raven is also a decent person, so there is no clear reason for her to be wary of him. The next day, Yoki goes to the Adventurers Guild and notices that Croman is nowhere to be seen. There, a receptionist asks him if he is looking for the Vice Guildmaster. Yoki asks who she means, and she explains that Croman is the Vice Guildmaster, while his lazy reputation does not match his position at all, which makes Yoki stare at her in disbelief. When Yoki asks why Croman is absent, she hesitates, then quietly admits he is in the hospital. Yoki leaves at once to check on him. Later, Yoki visits Croman, who thanks him for coming. Yoki notices the bandages covering him from head to toe and asks how he ended up so badly injured. Croman explains that his wife got angry with him, but the answer only confuses Yoki further until Croman admits it was their wedding anniversary. He could not decide on a gift for her, which made him waste so much time at the shop that night fell before he returned home, and when he finally arrived, his wife believed he had forgotten her gift and beat him in a fit of anger. Yoki feels stunned and asks how his wife has the strength to twist his bones so badly. Croman explains that she was once an A-ranked adventurer, and he was as well. Before marrying, they both formed a party known as the Invincible Couple. Yoki offers to heal Croman with magic, but Croman refuses, saying he prefers to recover under his wife's care. His overly romantic tone makes Yoki uneasy, and soon his wife enters the room. Yoki gets surprised to see its headmaid, Sophia. Croman beams when he sees her and calls her honey, but Sophia kicks him for it before tending to his wounds. Then she steps outside with Yoki and thanks him for visiting her husband. Yoki tells her it is no trouble and asks how Cecilia is doing. Sophia tells him that Cecilia is fine but currently out on business. Yoki feels disappointed, but then changes the subject and asks Sophia whether girls truly care so much about gifts, which makes Sophia realize that Croman must have told Yoki all about it. Yoki explains that he only wants honest advice. She tells him that a girl appreciates any gift as long as they are well thought out, and Yoki thanks her before heading off. As he walks back, Yoki feels envious of their married life and starts thinking about whether Cecilia would make a quiet housewife or an outgoing businesswoman, but then quickly pulls himself out of that fantasy before entering Raven's room. There, he finds Raven collapsed on the bed like a lifeless statue and unresponsive. Yoki finally says happiness, and Raven immediately gets out of his trauma. Raven asks how Yoki knows her. Yoki explains that they have been friends for a long time, then asks how things went when Raven confessed his feelings to Happiness. Raven tells him his story. He says that he first met Happiness while patrolling the city, and at that time she was being harassed by a group of goons in an alley, so he stepped in to protect her out of his sense of duty as a knight, which made the men back off and leave her alone. Happiness thanked him for helping her, and he told her not to worry about it, then realized too late that he let his gentle voice slip out in the heat of the moment. But what surprised him was when she complimented his voice instead of mocking him. Raven told her that his voice did not match his appearance at all. Yet Happiness insisted it suited him, saying he was lucky to have it, and that moment gave him the confidence to think she might like him, which is why he later visited her. Yoki listens and says he knows Cecilia as well, then recounts his whole story with her, leading Raven to respect him for leaving his homeland to stay by the side of the woman he loves. Raven realizes how hard Yoki has worked to become worthy of Cecilia, while he has done nothing for the girl he likes. Still, Yoki tells him it is not his fault since Happiness struggles with matters of the heart, and he explains how her past trauma likely makes her reject him. Raven realizes he rushed his confession to someone like her, and now he has no hope. Yet Yoki tells him he still has a chance, then drags him to the market to buy a gift for Happiness. They visit a couple's gift shop, and Raven grows uneasy and worries that people might mistake him and Yoki for a couple. Yoki brushes it off and buys a necklace for Cecilia. Then he notices Raven hesitating over a gift for Happiness and suggests that Raven choose a small trinket that suits Happiness. Raven doubts she will like it at all, but Yoki tells her she will and adds that the trinket matches her style, which finally convinces Raven to buy it. Just after Raven finishes paying, Makana notices them and walks over, then starts teasing both lonely boys for coming to the market without a girl. Yoki proudly declares that they are there to buy gifts for the girls they like, and before Raven can stop him, Yoki lets the secret slip to Makana. She immediately turns on Raven with questions about who he likes, which makes him turn away from her, leaving Makana to realize she is making him uncomfortable. But she needs gossip right now, so she drags them along to question them about their crushes. They sit to eat, and although she keeps asking questions, both boys ignore her. Knowing that Yoki will react, she brings up Cecilia. Yoki freezes mid-bite, prompting Makana to ask how things are going with her. He admits that nothing has truly changed. Cecilia has given him a chance, but she is getting marriage proposals one after another. Makana nods and mentions that even Yuga jumped in to propose to Cecilia. Yoki tells her that Cecilia has already rejected Yuga. Makana explains that Yuga used to bother both girls. He acted like a shameless flirt, letting his fangirls cling to him, which delayed their party on ordinary days and left Cecilia furious. Because of that behavior, Cecilia formed a completely negative impression of him. Makana warns Yoki to be careful around Cecilia, or he might end up getting blacklisted as well, which makes Yoki agree. Makana then turns to Raven and starts prying into his love life. Yoki cuts her off and says he will not let a sly fox like her interfere in his friend's sincere feelings, which offends Makana as she insists she only wants to help, then admits that she also wants love advice for herself. Raven feels surprised by her honesty, and Makana quickly adds that it is probably a bad idea to seek advice from two hopeless idiots like them. Yet Raven says Yoki is a good person to ask about these things, prompting Makana to trust him despite her doubts. Makana explains that she worries about Yuga because he has started to hate her after a certain incident. Before saying anything more, she asks Yoki to keep the matter a secret, which he agrees to do. Makana then recounts that in the past, their party kept getting defeated inside the Demon Lord's castle. Yoki acts as if he is hearing this for the first time. She admits that the party never even reached the Demon Lord himself because they kept getting crushed by one of his soldiers. Each time the demon defeated them, he politely returned them to a nearby human village. Every time they woke up, the heroes lied to the villagers, saying they had left the castle early to prepare and stay safe. The villagers believed them and continued to provide food and supplies, even as those supplies slowly dwindled, unable to support the party after every defeat. But soon it became unbearable to keep lying and coming back injured again and again. Then, one day, the demon offered to let them advance on the condition that they leave Cecilia behind. At that time, Makana convinced the party to accept the offer because she wanted to complete the mission and protect others. Ever since then, Yuga started to resent her for agreeing to abandon their teammate, and although he never spoke of it directly, Makana knew he held a grudge against her and asked Yoki whether he could ever forgive a friend who left someone important behind. Raven steps in and tells her she is not the only one at fault, which surprises Makana. He admits he shares the blame because he cannot bring himself to speak up at the time. Yoki reflects that he cannot place all the blame on Makana, since he is the one who first asked the party to leave Cecilia behind. Yoki then asks whether Makana has apologized to Cecilia. Makana admits she has not, because she believes it would be too uncomfortable to bring it up now. Yoki asks whether she truly wants to leave things awkward forever, and that question makes her realize her mistake. Yoki urges her to talk to her friends for the sake of their friendship. and Makana agrees, thanking him for the advice. After Makana leaves, Raven gathers the courage to speak with Happiness, and he goes to Cecilia's mansion with Yoki, where Duke stops them at the entrance and demands to know who Raven is. He is clearly displeased that Raven has come back after Happiness already rejected him. Duke keeps pressing Raven when Raven stays silent, which makes Duke assume that he is being ignored on purpose and calls Raven a coward. Raven finally admits he has no plan for what to say to Happiness. Duke is surprised and asks why he won't act like a proper gentleman. Raven explains that he doesn't want to pretend. After a moment, Duke finally allows him to go and speak with Happiness. Once Raven walks away, Duke tells Yoki that he was only testing Raven's sincerity. Meanwhile, Raven apologizes to Happiness for catching her off guard the other day. He then offers her the gift he bought and asks whether they can be friends. Happiness hesitates for a moment, but then accepts the gift and agrees to become friends. Raven leaves with quiet hope that this small step will let him grow closer to her.
And that is it for today. If you enjoyed this recap, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and feel free to write whatever you want in the comments section. Thank you for watching.